Hello, my name is Pastor Kathy Kollar. I'm the pastor of Pleasant Valley Lutheran Church near Malabar Farm and St. Paul Lutheran Church in Lucas, Ohio. Greetings. We are reading through the Bible with commentary. We are in the book of Numbers. We are at chapter 9. The Israelites have left Egypt, have camped at Mount Sinai for some time. They have come there, and the Lord has spoken to Moses, given him the 10 words known as the 10 Commandments, and not only those, but also this larger law of how to be a special people, how to live differently than the people around them, and how to have a temple, even though they're on the move, even though they're out in the desert. They have this tabernacle, the moving temple. It is a tent, but it's a temple with an altar, and in the middle of it, hidden where nobody can see it, the very most holy thing of all, the box completely covered with gold to hold the commandments, the tablets from God, with a gold cover on it called the mercy seat, solid gold cover with 2 angels, cherubim, facing each other with their wings spread out over the Ark of the Covenant. And it all has poles so that it can be carried. And there's literally thousands and thousands of Levites and priests, and probably close to 2 million people potentially encamped and able to pack up and move. So, chapter 9. The Lord spoke to Moses in the wilderness of Sinai in the first month of the second year after they had come out of the land of Egypt. So it's been a year, saying, "Let the Israelites keep the Passover at its appointed time. On the 14th day of this month, at twilight, you shall keep it at its appointed time. According to all its statutes and all its regulations, you shall keep it." So Moses told the Israelites that they should keep the Passover. They kept the Passover in the first month on the 14th day of the month at twilight in the wilderness of Sinai. Just as the Lord had commanded Moses, so the Israelites did. So they've been out there in the wilderness for 1 year, and on the 1 year anniversary of the original Passover, they now begin to observe the Passover and to remember what God did for them in passing over top of them while they were in Egypt. God passed over the Israelites, but killed the firstborn in every other house. So now every year they are to remember the Passover, and to this day, 3,000 years later, Jewish people will follow and remember the Passover. Now, there were certain people who were unclean through touching a corpse, so that they could not keep the Passover on that day. And they came before Moses and Aaron on that day and said to him, "Although we were unclean through touching a corpse, why must we be kept from presenting the Lord's offering at its appointed time among the Israelites?" Moses spoke to them, "Wait, so that I may hear what the Lord will command concerning you." Verse 9, the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Speak to the Israelites, saying, any one of you or your descendants who is unclean through touching a corpse or is away on a journey shall still keep the Passover to the Lord. In the second month, on the 14th day at twilight, they shall keep it. They shall eat it with unleavened bread and bitter herbs. They shall leave none of it until morning, nor break a bone of it. According to all the statute for the Passover, they shall keep it. But anyone who is clean and not on a journey, and yet refrains from keeping the Passover, shall be cut off from the people for not presenting the Lord's offering at its appointed time. Such a one shall bear the consequences for the sin. Any alien residing among you who wishes to keep the Passover to the Lord shall do so according to the statutes of the Passover and according to its regulation. You shall have one statute for both the resident alien and the native." So even if somebody is living amongst them that is not actually an Israelite, they also can keep the Passover. And even people who have touched a corpse and so therefore are ritually unclean, they too can keep the Passover. In fact, the ones that are in trouble are the ones who are not unclean, that are clean and who are not traveling, who are just there and who don't do the Passover. Those are the ones that are in trouble. But if they're there and they're able, then they are supposed to do the Passover. And the resident alien refers to anybody living among them who was not actually an Israelite. And there were people traveling with them. And then, of course, once they landed in the Promised Land, then there were people there that were not Israelite. Verse 15. On the day the tabernacle was set up, the cloud covered the tabernacle, the tent of the covenant, and from evening until morning it was over the tabernacle, having the appearance of fire. It was always so, for the cloud covered it by day, and the appearance of fire by night. Whenever the cloud lifted from over the tent, then the Israelites would set out, and in the place where the cloud settled down, there the Israelites would camp. At the command of the Lord, the Israelites would set out, and at the command of the Lord, they would camp. As long as the cloud rested over the tabernacle, they would remain in camp. And when the cloud continued over the tabernacle many days, the Israelites would keep the charge of the Lord and would not set out. Sometimes the cloud would remain a few days over the tabernacle, and according to the command of the Lord, they would remain in camp. Then, according to the command of the Lord, they would set out. Sometimes the cloud would remain from evening until morning, and when the cloud lifted in the morning, they would set out. Or if it continued for a day and a night, when the cloud lifted, they would set out. Whether it was 2 days or a month or a longer time that the cloud continued over the tabernacle, resting upon it, the Israelites would remain in camp and would not set out. But when it lifted, they would set out. At the command of the Lord, they would camp, and at the command of the Lord, they would set out. They kept the charge of the Lord at the command of the Lord by Moses. So, as we've said, they're traveling through the desert, through the wilderness, and they've got this arrangement that we read about a couple of chapters ago with the tent of meeting. The tabernacle has several different names in the center. Around that, the Levites, and then around that, in 4 camps, the rest of the tribes of Israel. Chapter 10. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Make 2 silver trumpets. You shall make them of hammered work, and you shall use them for summoning the congregation and for breaking camp. When both are blown, the whole congregation shall assemble before you at the entrance of the tent of meeting. But if only one is blown, then the leaders, the heads of the tribes of Israel, shall assemble before you. When you blow an alarm, the camps on the east side shall set out. When you blow a second alarm, the camps on the south side shall set out. An alarm is to be blown whenever they are to set out. But when the assembly is to be gathered, you shall blow, but you shall not sound an alarm. So how does that work? Somehow the sound is different. One is an alarm that says, okay, we're moving out, and others says, come and gather. The sons of Aaron, the priests, shall blow the trumpets. This shall be a perpetual institution for you throughout your generations. When you go to war in your land against the adversary who oppresses you, you shall sound an alarm with a trumpet, so that you may be remembered before the Lord your God, and be saved from your enemies. Also on your days of rejoicing, at your appointed festivals, and at the beginning of your months, you shall blow the trumpets over your burnt offerings and over your sacrifices of well-being. They shall serve as a reminder on your behalf before the Lord. I am the Lord your God. So when the cloud moves, when the fire moves, then the people move, and when they move, they set out, they blow trumpets to say, hey, time to set out. We're going to go. We're on the move. Or the trumpet sound to say, hey, leaders, it's time to come and join. Verse 11, in the 2nd year, in the 2nd month, on the 20th day of the month, the cloud lifted from over the tabernacle of the covenant. Then the Israelites set out by stages from the wilderness of Sinai, and the cloud settled down in the wilderness of Paran. They set out for the first time at the command of the Lord by Moses. The standard of the camp of Judah set out first, company by company, and over the whole company was Nahshon, son of Abinadab. Over the company of the tribe of Issachar was Nathanael, son of Zuar. Over the company of the tribe of Zebulun was Eliab, son of Helon. Then the tabernacle was taken down, and the Gershonites and the Merarites who carried the tabernacle set out. Next the standard of the camp of Reuben set out, company by company, and over the whole company was Eliezer, son of Shedeur. Over the company of the tribe of Simeon, Shelumiel, son of Zurishaddai. And over the company of the tribe of Gad was Eliasaph, son of Deuel. Then the Kohathites who carried the holy things set out, and the tabernacle was set up before their arrival. Next the standard of the Ephraimite camp. So first the Judah camp, then the Reuben camp, and in between them was the actual tabernacle, but then in the middle is the actual holy pieces, the Ark of the Covenant and the actual really holy pieces are right in the middle of everybody. So next, the standard of the Ephraimite camp set out company by company, and over the whole company was Elishama, son of Ammihud. Over the company of the tribe of Manasseh was Gamaliel, son of Pedazur, and over the company of the tribe of Benjamin was Abidan, son of Gideoni. Then the standard of the camp of Dan, acting as a rear guard of all the camps, set out, company by company, and over the whole company was Ahiezer, son of Ammishaddai. Over the company of the tribe of Asher was Pagiel, son of Ochran, and over the company of the tribe of Naphtali was Ahirason, son of Enan. This was the order of the march of the Israelites, company by company, when they set out. Moses said to Hobab, son of Reuel the Midianite, Moses' father-in-law, which has had a couple different names, but it's not strange 3,000 years later, and possibly just different ways of pronouncing or spelling a name. So he said to his father-in-law, "We are setting out for the place of which the Lord said, 'I will give it to you. Come with us, and we will treat you well, for the Lord has promised good to Israel.' But he said to him, 'I will not go, but I will go back to my own land and to my kindred.' He said, 'Don't leave us, for you know where we should camp in the wilderness, and you will serve as eyes for us. Moreover, if you go with us, whatever good the Lord does for us, the same we will do for you.' So they set out from the mount of the Lord 3 days' journey, with the Ark of the Covenant of the Lord going before them 3 days' journey, to seek out a resting place for them, the cloud of the Lord being over them by day when they set out from the camp. Whenever the ark set out, Moses would say, 'Arise, O Lord, let your enemies be scattered, and let your foes flee before you.' And whenever it came to rest, he would say, 'Return, O Lord, of the 10,000 thousands of Israel.'" So, and tomorrow we will hear about the thing that we've heard about before, perhaps. The Israelites do not like being out in the desert, and they will be complaining about that. But we will save that one for tomorrow. In the meantime, the keeping of the Passover started as soon as there was a year went by, and they remembered the Passover. And to this day, every spring, people remember the Passover, and they keep the Passover, and they don't eat anything with leavening for a week. If I remember correctly, when I was in Israel, when the Sabbath came, they blew a trumpet, just like I'm here. And actually, it was amazing when Sabbath would come, and at the Wailing Wall, the eastern wall, the wall that was where the temple used to be was above, and all that's left is this retaining wall. But there's this festival, this party, when Sabbath comes, and everybody is just so joyous and so happy, and there's music and dancing and just this big, wonderful kind of street party when Sabbath comes to Israel, and they blow that trumpet to say it's Sabbath. So, and now may the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord look at you with favor and give you peace. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Go in peace. Serve the Lord. Thanks be to God. Thanks so much for being here. Thanks so much for watching to the end. Like, subscribe, comment, and if you don't, that's okay too. We're just glad you're here and appreciate you very much. Have a great day.